We just got back from our trip down to the Ringa Islands over Easter. It was a 4-day trip. We left on the Thursday and had some really great wind. The monsoon is still blowing here this time of year, and so winds were from the northeast, fairly strong at the time. So on the way down there we had 12 to 14 knots. Bintan Island, it's about 40 nautical miles away. We're doing just over 7 knots, so we'll be there in about 5 hours, a bit over 5 hours. It's just gone midday, so we'll get in there before dusk. There's a bit more wind at the bottom of Bintan Island, so we'll probably pick up speed to get around there and be doing 8s and 9s, I'd say. Or we could put up a spinnaker and go a bit quicker. As the day went on, it increased to 15 knots. Boat sailed really well. Initially the wind was on the nose, so we were going into the wind to start with, and then as we rounded the corner and headed between Bintan and Batam, we were on basically a broad reach and able to cruise along at 9s quite comfortably. The boat really handled the conditions well. We set the boat up to basically for a constant 9 knots of boat speed, and that was using the code 0 and then the full main, so no reefs in the main. And those speeds and those wind speeds, it's an optimal setup. On the other side is Bintan. We're going right down the middle of between Bintan and Batam. Wow, not much wind, but going fast. The wind keeps changing though. As we got closer down to Bintan Island though, we had the wind swung on us, and it's the first time I've seen a southeast wind blowing, which is always a problem because we were heading southeast. So it was basically wind into the nose again, so what we had to do was drop the code 0 and then tack up wind till we arrived at Bintan Island late in the afternoon. The conditions at Bintan are amazing. The anchorage is actually fairly exposed where we were at for the northeast winds, but for the winds that were blowing from the southeast when we arrived, it was basically a perfect spot to anchor. And then the next day we did some dives. The water there is amazing. Super clear water, beautiful beaches, and no other sailors, no other boats there at all. There was one really nice guy who gave us some coconuts that owns the island, but apart from that we didn't see anyone else. Dude up here, he owns the island. He wants to sell it. So he's negotiating a price with Andy to buy the island. Apparently he's pretty keen to sell. Wow, but it's really hot. I need to go for a dive and cool down. The fish life there is pretty good. I mean, it's not as good as probably some of the other places I've been, but definitely the water was clear and there was quite a good diversity of coral. We decided to come back a little bit earlier, so after 2 days down there, the forecast was for increasing northeast winds, and we had to come back into that breeze to get back to here at Nongsa Point. So we left a little bit earlier rather than slog it back into the 20 knots that were forecast for Monday. We just put on the turbocharger. So we've got 11 knots of true wind and we're doing 7 knots. Trim the sails a bit more and we'll go a bit quicker. We're sailing at apparent wind of 70 degrees.